Are you thinking about writing a book? Well, I have exactly the group for you. You need Shine Press in your life. They have a free 30-minute consultation that answers your questions and shows you what it would look like to become a Shine Press author. They're illuminating stories and empowering authors. Go to shine-press.com to learn more.
Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. Today is another day for you are in for a huge treat. I mean, if ever there were two people that should be in the same space at the same time talking about joy, it is myself and Dr. Jaime Raygoza. So we're going to have some fun together. But before we jump into all of that, would you please do me a favor and follow this podcast? If you're not following, you won't get notifications that fabulous people like Dr. Jaime is with me. So please, please, please go ahead and follow and get ready for some true joy today. So I have with us my new friend. My new friend is Dr. Jaime Raygoza, and he is a career and stress coach. He is also an outdoor enthusiast, particularly likes hiking. He is a laughter yoga teacher, which I cannot wait to learn more about. He's a runner of half marathons, a cat dad to Jolene. He loves to camp, and he is a personal and professional growth expert. Friends, let's welcome our new friend, Dr. Jaime, to Productive Joy. Welcome to Productive Joy.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me.
We're going to have some fun together, I promise. And I have no doubt that the next 30 seconds are going to be really entertaining because you're going to tell us why we should listen to this episode. So why should people keep listening?
We just need to learn that there's so many stressors in this world, right? So I think that we need to learn to take life a little bit less seriously, have more joy and more play in our lives.
Yeah, amen. Well said. Okay, so we're done. That's all we really needed to say. Kidding. Okay, so Dr. Jaime, you landed here and you help people find that joy. But where did you start? Like, how did you get from baby, not yet Dr. Jaime, to here?
I think it was because I was taking life way too seriously. At a young age, I was taught that you have to work hard and you have to sacrifice everything in order to get to that level of success that, that one dreams of. And coming from parents who were immigrants, it was ingrained to them that we didn't have time to have fun. There was no time for relaxation. And through my journey, I ended up having anxiety attacks. I went through burnout. I had severe mental health issues because I was not taking breaks. I was not taking time to really appreciate all the things around me. And I got to the point where I was making money like I thought was ideal to survive. And I lived comfortably and I was able to go on vacation, but I felt so empty inside. I was like, there's no motivation to go to work. There's no motivation to do things around me. And lo and behold, I came through laughter yoga. I learned about all these different things. And I was like, what I'm missing is joy. What I'm missing is pleasure. I'm missing really embracing the beauty of the world around me and, integrating that to my life. So that just shot me into the direction that I'm in now.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think more of us need to find that kind of joy. I believe that joy is a choice. And I think that if we choose it more regularly, then we see really great things happen, which is a whole lot of what you just said, right? Like you weren't finding it, you weren't looking for it. Maybe you were looking for it, but you weren't finding it. You mentioned that success was supposed to look like X, right? What happened that finally convinced you that success could look a little different?
I started to really get to know myself. I think that I defined success based on what other people's perception was of success. So growing up, you're told by your parents, you may or maybe, or the people around you, you need to do these certain careers because they're lucrative. They look really good, the lawyer, the doctor, those type of things. And you are so focused on pleasing them, pleasing people around you, these expectations that society sets, that you don't really sit back and ask yourself, is this really making me happy? Is this really my calling? Is this something that essentially is going to bring me joy every day in doing? And I've talked to so many people and they would tell me, you don't get a job that you like. You don't get a career that you're going to wake up and do that. That's a myth. And I was like, is it? Is it really?
See?
And that's when I challenged that idea that like, that's like where I was like, let me try to take a risk and do something that I love doing and see if I can live with joy and also have a successful life. And that's where my definition of success changed.
Well, and so here's actually, let me just let you peek behind the curtain. So I came up with the title Productive Joy. Well, ChatGPT came up with the title Productive Joy, let's be honest. But my theme in my company is you have to make work fun or people will quit, right? Because we quit
Mhm.
things that aren't fun. But to me, that fun factor can't just be at work. And so that's why when I put it in, I was like, ways to have fun at work, at home, blah, blah, and came up with Productive Joy. Because to me, it has to happen all the time. And what I'm hearing you say is that a lot of people told you those two things, work and fun, needed to be mutually exclusive. And I just don't believe that to be true. So tell us a little bit about what you do now that is so fun that you are enjoying.
Yeah. So really being able to be myself and not have different versions of myself
Mm.
wherever I go. And I think that's the thing that we feel that we have to be wearing all these different hats and a different personality has to be there. However, that's not always true. So yeah, you're in the corporate world, you have to present yourself a certain way, but you can still show off authentically.
I was going
You
to say, do you?
don't exactly. So you don't have to be like this version that's fake because people read into that,
Yeah.
and then and every time that you try to be somebody you're not, you're sucking a little bit of that joy, that enthusiasm, that thing that drives you to want to do the thing.
Yeah.
But if you're a person that is loud and loves to make people smile and likes to laugh, do that.
Yeah.
People are going to read into that. They're going to buy into that. And that's going to be your method of success. If you're in sales, there's not one way of doing sales. Like you can sell people based on joy and laughter and happiness. You don't have to sell with fear and anxiety. If you are a manager for something, you can motivate your people with that charisma that you have. You can motivate people with that sense of fun and plainness. So everything that I do, I try to incorporate that in there. So you'll always catch me doing silly things. I'm going to be making jokes galore. You're going to see me with these hand gestures, these like faces that I do, and that's kind of like my brand, what I did, because that's what feels good for me.
Yeah. Well, you are being your authentic self. You are showing up as you. And when you do that, other people can do the same, right? I think that
Exactly.
we have been taught somewhere along the way that there is a mold, a box, a
Hmm.
way that things have to look. And that's why I said, do you? Because I am learning the older I get, the more I recognize that actually that's a lot like wearing a mask. Whether it's a scuba mask or a mask to keep you healthy or a Mardi Gras mask, whatever it is, it's hard to breathe when you're
Exactly.
in masks. And so, why would we ever want to have to do that? And I think the society would have us believe that we do have to fit in a box. And I'm not saying be a social misfit, but I think that there is so much value in showing up as your authentic self and bringing your gifts to the table, right? I had a friend tell me one time that we're all a gift. We're just not everybody's gift, right? Like if I gave you the same gift that I gave somebody else, it wouldn't mean the same thing. So understanding that we might not be everybody's gift, but we are the gift that some people very much need is important. So super important question. Tell me about laughter yoga. Like, what
Yes.
is that and why do I know more about it?
So laughter yoga is the concept of yogic breathing mixed with laughter exercises. And what it does, it provides more oxygen into your body, therefore into your brain. And just a simple act of smiling or even like laughing can increase endorphins and serotonin in your brain, giving those good feelers
Yeah.
and decreasing stress hormones. So fun fact, your brain can't tell whether you're doing synthetic laughter, so fake laughter, or real laughter. The same chemical compound happens in your brain.
Really?
So I love saying fake it till you make it because
Yeah.
literally your brain can't tell whether you're having real fun or fake fun, but it does organically become real over time.
Oh my gosh, that's fun. Okay, wait. Have you ever tried to laugh without smiling?
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the most entertaining exercises. My friends and I used to do that when we were in high school, and we would just belly laugh hard. And one thing, if you've ever listened to any Productive Joy episodes, you know that I will find a way to laugh in every one of them because it is just my most favorite thing. So, do
Mhm.
you like gather people in a room and you laugh together? Like, tell me more.
Yeah, so it is guided. So there's certain activities that you do from chanting laughter to like that's actually one of the exercises, laughing with no
Oh, hold on.
smiling.
I know I would get the giggles at chanting laughter. Like that I am 100% sure that I would get out of control with that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It gets very loud. There's a lot of eye contact, a lot of like physical movement. There is light stretching, but everybody can meet at their level, whatever their mobility is. But you do that for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then you mix in as well as giggle meditation, which is like regular meditation, but you're giggling instead of like exhaling. So it's a lot of different activities that just really challenge you to play with your inner child, just let loose and have fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so do you do that like at corporate retreats and places like that? Because I can totally see my team sitting around a table trying to hold it together and enjoy. I mean, I can feel the release, and I haven't even tried it. But but is that something that you do?
Yeah, so I incorporate into my coaching practice as well as I go do workshops at corporate, I do it for nonprofits, or just do community events. Like I get called out to go to conferences all the time to do it.
Sure.
And I love incorporating it in my coaching method because it's techniques that I can give my clients to learn how to ground themselves and de-stress,
Yeah.
especially if they're really having trouble regulating those emotions. Sometimes laughter is the freest way. I'd say it's free because it doesn't cost you anything, and
Right.
fast way to really relax and ground yourself.
Oh my gosh. That is so much fun. Okay, so then that leads me to my favorite question because it just makes sense. So if you had to describe productive joy to somebody, what would your description be?
It would be really authentically having fun, letting loose, and just having a good time in the present because we get distracted by so many things, and it's hard for us to just be in the here and the now and see the beauty of it
Mm-hmm.
and just smile, laugh, enjoy this. Like right now I'm enjoying this podcast, and then just really forget everything else. Life is going to continue happening. Put a pause on that, put a pin in it, just focus right here.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes back to the theory that we have a lot more influence than we realize, right? So I talk about it a lot, but this little teeny tiny hole right here is our sphere of control, right?
Mhm.
But our sphere of influence is as big as we can make it. And in a situation where, things are heavy and hard, because that happens. I'm not saying that those things don't happen, but we have a choice in those moments as to how we're going to let it impact us. That laughter. So I actually just recently had a guest and he was talking about manifestations. And he said that, if you think about it, you've got two different people in the same traffic jam. And this person over here is furious and ready to take somebody's head off and honking and cutting people off, and this person over here singing karaoke and having the time of their life, right? And it's a choice. It's a choice that I am going to choose to see the good, or I'm going to choose to see the bad. Both are there. And this laughter, how do you see the bad when you're in the middle of a full-blown giggle attack?
Oh
So,
yeah.
I am
Oh,
not going to do it because it will be embarrassing. However, I have a very loud, distinct laugh when it's like a full, I can't control it laugh, right? Well, my mother has the same laugh. And when I was in high school, and I won't admit how long, well, I can't admit how long ago this was, but I can tell you that it was when we were recording on cassette tapes a musical that my mother and I were like, my mom was doing the choreography. I was in the musical. So there is this laugh, and like we're recording us singing, but somebody laughs. Well, that somebody was me, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, "Who is that? What is that?" Yeah, that was me. Not cute, but genuine, and I can't help it. Like it is just what comes out. I think we need more of that. I think we need more of that not unhinged, uninhibited
yeah.
ability to just, like you said, that childlike finding. So can you convince our audience that they need more laughter in their lives? Like what would convince them? Tell them something, because these are a bunch of leaders who probably have pretty heavy jobs. They're, but they're looking for productive joy. They're looking for a way to do it differently. What would you tell them?
I would don't feel guilty to have joy. I think the reason that we don't allow joy in our lives is because we feel that we're not good enough. We haven't accomplished enough.
Mm.
We tie our value to based on the things that happen in our lives, but you're still special inside. Your value does not change whether you are productive or not, whether you had a really tough day or a really lax day. So regardless of whatever day you're having, allow yourself to enjoy it. Allow yourself to bring joy and laughter and smiles wherever you are at. Like you said, it is a conscious choice. And I think it's hard because a lot of us go into the autopilot mode
Mhm.
where we're going in, day out, without really being intentional about how we live our lives.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the day, one routine that I've always set is I wake up and ask, what is my intention of the day? What do I want to feel today? And I always ask, no matter what happens, remind myself of this intention. So if my intention is joy, regardless of whatever it happens, if my coffee spills on me, if somebody cuts me off in the freeway, if I screw up the presentation, at the end of the day, I have to remind myself that my intention for today is joy.
Mm.
Therefore, I will always find it in every interaction.
Mm.
So if I spill the coffee, I just start laughing. Because what else am I gonna do? Oh, it's funny.
Not much you can do
You
at
know?
that point.
I'll just clean it up. I'll laugh about it. Like, you know what? I'll just make myself a copy. The coffee was probably bitter anyways.
Yeah.
So then I'm just like, okay, so just change your perspective. And if you start purposely seeking the good in everything, you're gonna notice you're gonna have a better day. A better day. You're gonna have a more joyful life.
Yeah. Well, and you make it sound easy. It's not that it's easy. It's just simple, right? And I just recently had another guest who said the same thing. I think there's a big difference between simple and easy, and yet we overcomplicate things
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
in the name of, I don't know, feeling like we have some control over it, whatever it is. Okay, I
Yeah.
have to change gears because I have more questions. So I want to know about the unicorn and the symbolism of your unicorns that I see behind you, but I know that are also part of your brand. And I also want to know what your doctorate's in. So you decide which one you want to tell me first.
So the doctorate's in human and organizational psychology. So I focus a lot on how people function in the workplace, specifically employee turnover, retention, and how stress impacts like their job in general. So burnout is like a big common theme that comes in there. And the reason of the unicorn, which kind of ties in with that, is that a lot of people feel dissociated when they're at work. They feel
Mm.
like you said, they're a mold and they're no
Yeah.
longer themselves. So that unicorn is a reminder that you have something special inside.
Mhm.
You're unique. Don't hide it. Embrace it. Be that inner unicorn. And by you doing that, you're going to inspire other people to do the same.
Yeah.
You're truly special and you really can accomplish anything you set your mind to, but don't be afraid to do it. Don't be a unicorn. Don't be a horse when you're obviously a unicorn in the pack.
Gosh, I love that. I want to be a unicorn. Like I mean, I'm extra. That's literally what I've been called for many years, but I want to be a unicorn. I want to stand out for my unique genius, right? I want to be who I am meant to be, and I want the people around me to feel like they can do the same. And that to me is a sign of a great leader, but it's also somebody who's comfortable enough in their own skin to
Mhm.
say, yeah, this is how I show up. Like, you're going to get this. This is a lot, but this is what you're going to get because that's what I'm meant to be. I love that. Okay, wait. You said human organizational psychology. I'm not even sure I knew that was a thing, but yet you said it. Everybody needs that thing, right? So tell me, who do you work with? How does that work? Because the people listening are probably like, okay, hi, I need Dr. Jaime in my life because I don't laugh enough.
Yeah, so I work with individuals that are feeling lost. They're feeling that joy has disappeared from their life, and they want to be able to reintroduce it back in there. So with that, I work with a lot of organizations that either hire me to go and give speaks or workshops with their org to remotivate their staff, or I'll work with the actual employee and try and do one-on-one sessions with them to help them rediscover that what they feel has lost over the years.
Nice. Okay, so what's the toughest client you've ever had, and did you win him over?
My toughest client was he had really low self-worth, and I love him, worked with him for 2 years, and he just felt he wasn't worthy of the positions that he wanted because he felt that there was nothing special about him.
Mm.
He wanted to write a book, he wanted to be a speaker, and he wanted to really like teach at this very prestige university. And we talked, and everything about him was just like saying that he wasn't worthy. And like time and time again, people have told him that he was either too old or he was like unexperienced, all excuses in the world. And after working with him for 6 months, like his drastic like perception of himself changed. He was willing to do things that he wasn't, that he would told himself that he couldn't do. And it just changed his whole personality. And a lot of the problem was his mindset, because it's self-fulfilling bias. You tell yourself you're not good at something, your habits will go in line with that thought and that belief. And he wasn't good at it, And when we recognize that those patterns, it was beautiful seeing that transformation with him. And the only reason we have worked this long together for 3 years is because every single time he reaches like that goal, he's like, let's do another one. Let's do another. And it's like, let's top that one. And he's been able to like publish articles. He's been able to speak at conferences. He's been able to, get promoted at work. And it's been such a beautiful work like journey with him
Yeah.
that it's just like, it's addicting, because I'm like, I want to continue seeing this growth with all of my clients.
Yeah. Well, has he written his book yet?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. What's his book about?
It's about like physics, and it's about like how AI and physics, it's very like,
I was gonna say a little light read, or
no, not at all. Not at all. It's about how AI integrates with physics. And it's just like, I love that for him, and I love that journey. And I was like, not my cup of tea, but I'm glad that I
oh my
helped him,
gosh. So you haven't
know?
read his book, but you helped him write his book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave up.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I would need someone to interpret that for me. Physics is not my lane, but how cool. How cool. Congratulations. That is a huge testament to what you do, but also who you are. And the fact that you can bring that out in people, I think many people struggle with worth. And worth is not something we earn. Worth is something we're born with.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, we somewhere along the way lose that, right? And we equate it a lot of times with confidence. I can have all the confidence in the world and zero self-worth. So, how great that you have helped him, and I'm sure many others, figure out how to find their actual worth that's been there all along, right? But
Yeah.
we've buried it from childhood trauma to adult trauma to all of the above, and now they don't have to. That's awesome. Well done. Well done.
Yep.
So how would somebody find you and I will say they at least need to send you an email so they get the cute little gifs of the little you that just had around. He's fun. So now you guys have to email him. But how would somebody get in touch with you, Dr. Jaime?
Yeah, they can shoot me an email at jgraygoza@rainbowcareercoaching.com, or just go to my website or any of my social medias, which is rainbowcareercoaching.com.
RainbowCareerCoaching.com. Okay, that's easy to remember, but Raygoza is spelled Raygoza. So if you are listening to this and you're driving, just burn that into your brain. And we'll put it in the show notes too. But I think it's really important that we all find a little more of what you have to offer. That unbridled, since we're talking about unicorns, why not? Unbridled joy, that smile. If you guys aren't watching, he has a fantastic smile that you can tell is just genuine. And you've learned how to not just have it, but own it. And I think there is so much power in that. Very, very well done. So I could talk to you forever, but unfortunately people get bored. So if they just might be getting bored, let's spice things up. And I've got some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
First question. What's your definition of fun?
Fun. Being able to be in the moment and just have uncontrollable laughter.
Uncontrollable laughter, the kind that tears are streaming and you can't get it together. Yeah. I have a friend who calls that an episode. And every once in a while she'll have an episode and there's just no holding back. I love it. Okay. How do you know that you are showing up as your authentic self?
When you feel comfortable, you can really be that dorky person that you are, and that feel free, relaxed, and just be yourself. Like it's hard to use the definition as the
okay. I hear you. When you can be dorky, I think that everybody understands that. Okay. How do you channel your best self on your worst days?
Where I give myself a lot of grace and just say, like, you are still special, you are still valuable. This mistake is not going to define you. Like, just relax. I think, in short, give yourself grace.
Yeah. Very well said. Very well said. Okay. So you said a lot of wonderful things today, and I want people to remember all of those things. However, by nature, our brains really latch on to one thing. So if they can only take away one major thing from this conversation, what's the thing that you want them to take away?
Have fun. Don't take life too seriously, and just re-embrace joy into your life.
Yeah.
Productive joy into your life.
productive joy, because the productive piece gives you something to show for it, doesn't it?
Exactly.
I love that. So, listeners, you heard it here. He just mic dropped and said, really, don't take yourself so seriously. Find time to laugh. And you're taking that from an expert, somebody who's studied this and has figured out that we can all be unicorns and we can all be able to embrace that sense of joy. And I know that there are probably some listeners who are thinking, yeah, but my job is very serious. I'm a doctor, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. Yeah, and if you're not having fun, people quit on you, period.
Mhm.
So whether it's, you've got to evoke a little bit of joy. And so I'm so appreciative that you do that for others and that you've done that for our listeners today. That's awesome. Thank you, Dr. Jaime.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It was fun. It was very fun. And for my listeners, you guys know that I'm going to ask you to take some sort of nugget of wisdom away with you. Maybe it's that you're a unicorn. Maybe it's that you should do more laughing. Maybe it's that you just really shouldn't take yourself so seriously, because you know what? It's going to be okay. Eventually, I mean, we have survived 100% of our bad days. So I'm hopeful that you have found something today that you can use right away and that will help you turn fun into action.